Now, what I don't want to do is change the water too much. If you change the water too much, you can shock the animal. Now, give the tank a bit of a clean. Just go around and clean it all. Once again, if this was my tank, I would have a flipper. And the flipper does an amazing job of just keeping your tank nice and clean and making sure you don't sort of have to do this so much. And then when we put the water back into the aquarium again, what's really important is that we're going to fill up the bucket with water. We're going to add the water ager to the bucket. Then we're going to put the water in the tank. What we don't want to do is just fill it up with tap water, because the chlorine in the tap water can kill the good bacteria if we're unlucky. So it's much better to treat the water in the tank, in the bucket, before it goes in the tank. Or if it is a big tank and we've got to actually just pump the water straight in, what we need to do is fill up 5 centimetres, then dose the water ager for the whole tank, fill up 5 centimetres, dose the water ager for the whole tank, and then that diffusion should absolutely be fine. Now, I do find it amazing how you go to some people's houses and the water pressure is so strong. Then you go to a lot of houses, particularly new ones, and the water pressure is very, very weak. It almost feels like one of their water saving strategies is just reduce the water pressure. Anyway, that sure doesn't work with a fish tank. Does a good looking fellow. Now, when cleaning out any biological filter, it's really important we don't use tap water, because the chlorine in the tap water can kill off any of our good bacteria. So we want to treat the water before it goes in. Then we want to use water from the fish tank that we've removed for cleaning any filter material. And then we want to put some water ager into the water. Now, this water ager is safe. It's a very good water ager and it's very strong, so you don't need to use large amounts of it. Using an overdose is quite good, but don't go silly with it. Otherwise, excess amounts of water ager is going to raise our GH level, which we don't need to be doing. So we're going to treat that, pop that in there, and make sure we don't get any chlorine in the water. And then if anything goes wrong with the tank and we start seeing high ammonia or high nitrite, we can put safe in at a overdosed. Just check the instructions, a 5 times dose, and that will detoxify ammonia, nitrite, and so forth. It binds it up, so it no longer is toxic to the fish. Great product to have on hand. Now, I can't recommend how handy one of these things are. So the Max Spec claws, I actually use this in my life all the time. I use it for cleaning up, and I use it for my fish tank. Sometimes just the idea that you've got to put your hand in the fish tank is something that might deter you from wanting to do it. Whereas Mr. Claw here makes you less likely to not want to do it, and I think it makes it all a lot more fun. So getting in there and giving it a bit of a rearrange, very good for the animal. Gonna try to hide that a little bit, trying to create a little bit of, give the guy a bit of space to cruise around. Like that. Push that in the back. I'd like a couple of extra big fake plants in here. So it's, maybe this is a bit busy. So probably giving him a bit of space. I reckon Mr. Boat comes out today. We can cycle him back in next time. Sometimes less is more, as far as giving the tank a bit of a dress up is concerned. But once again, change is king. Let's give him a bit of room to swim around. I think it needs a couple more nice big fake plants. I want a nice big one there, nice big one there. Yeah, I think the decorating needs a bit of love. Okay, so looking at this aquarium, I like to have a little bit of a theme going. At the moment, we've got a dinosaur. I've taken out the sailboat for now, but next time maybe rotate the sailboat in. I'd like probably some higher plants, and I think we could just give that a little bit more love. I think this light needs some attention, because we want the aquarium to look beautiful. And then looking at the way this filter's set up, that looks like real polyfilter. So polyfilter will adsorb and absorb nutrients until it turns black. So at the moment it's definitely not black. So that's pumping quite nicely. Then we've got a bit of filter wool here. And then underneath that, we've got your noodles. And underneath that, we've got a sponge. Now, the sponge and the noodles needs to be cleaned in tank water, not tap water. And the way this filter seems to be running is when the water level's a little bit higher, then these noodles and all that are underneath the water, so therefore they have an ability to do something. When I came and those noodles are all sitting on top of the sponge and the water level was low, then they're not really doing anything because they're just sitting there out of the water. So it's a bit of a catch-22, because if the water level was lower, then the water will drop out of the filter and we'll get re-aeration from the filter. But on the other hand, due to the design of the filter, not a big drama, by the way. If the filter is, if the water level's too low, the media's out of the water. If the water level is too high, then you're not getting the re-oxygen. Now, the re-oxygen is zero problem, providing we have enough other oxygen. So the fact that we've got this aerator here and the fact that we have this makes me fairly confident that it will be totally fine. But the other thing that you could do is put a little power head here and just give it a little bit of surface agitation, because all in all, the water's still quite still. I'm going to say it's okay, but in a perfect world, chuck a little Aqua L circulator or something there, agitate that way, break up the surface, and if you're going to have quite a fair bit of fish, then these little things make a big difference. If it's going to be underpopulated like this and you don't have a lot of fish in the tank, these little things aren't a big issue and they're not going to make a real big difference. But it's all just a matter of being aware. Aquariums are really one of those things where if you keep learning and you keep enjoying, then they're a wonderful little hobby that will just keep giving back to you. When you tend to have the same things too long, you stop learning, you stop enjoying, then that's when it ends up on the garage sale pile. So change is king. It's good to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Majestic Aquariums TV. Watch some of the videos, particularly if it is relevant to anything that you're dealing with. And it's really a wonderful hobby to have. That was cool.